Here's everything you might have missed in What If Episode 6. Welcome back to another What If Wednesday, my dudes. In its 6th episode, Marvel's animated anthology series shows us a very different journey for Killmonger. Well, very different at first, that is. Much like the previous 3 What If episodes, the picture Episode 6 paints is awfully bleak in spite of the occasional glimmer of hope. With anime-inspired robots, alternate realities, and murders most foul, there is a lot to sink your teeth into this episode. We're going to break down all the Easter eggs, references, and hidden details you might have missed in just a moment. However, in order to do that, we need to spoil what happens in What If Episode 6. So, if you haven't seen it yet, make like Killmonger and grab the nearest rhino on out of here.
Wakanda forever!
Okay, let's get into it, shall we? The episode titled What If Killmonger Rescued Tony Stark opens with some familiar sights and sounds. Looming large over the mountains of Afghanistan's Kunar province is the Watcher, who sets the stage for Tony Stark's fateful ambush at the opening of 2008's Iron Man. While the movie saw the Ten Rings kidnapping Tony and forcing him to build a sweet-ass suit of armor in a cave with a box of scraps, this time around he's rescued by elite Navy SEAL Eric Stevens, aka Killmonger, who yeets a missile away from Tony like it's nothing. If you recall in Black Panther, Killmonger revealed that he operated in various regions in the Middle East during his time as a Navy SEAL, including Afghanistan. Tony calls out how comic booky Killmonger's name is, and much like in the movie Black Panther, they joke that it's a nickname.
What is that, German?
A nickname.
As we'll see later in the episode, Killmonger takes his nickname very seriously, right down to the ritual scars on his body, but more on that in a minute. Killmonger acknowledges that the Ten Rings are the ones behind the attack, but this is long before we would ever meet Wenwu or the actual Ten Rings in the MCU's timeline. Although Killmonger spares Tony torture at the hands of the Ten Rings, this is the point of no return. Without the darkness, battle, and sacrifice that Tony experiences in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's main timeline, he never winds up becoming Iron Man. Next comes a press conference in the same vein as the one at the end of the first Iron Man movie, except rather than revealing his secret identity, Tony Stark makes a big staffing announcement instead. We see a host of familiar faces from Iron Man, including Pepper Potts, Christine Everhart, shout out to Leslie Bibb, Obadiah Stane, Happy Hogan, and James Rhodes. Unfortunately for Terrence Howard, he has been retconned out of this universe as Don Cheadle returns to play the role of Rhodey.
Look, it's me. I'm here. Deal with it. Let's move on.
Tony formally announces that Killmonger is the new Chief Security Officer of Stark Industries, much to Happy's chagrin, given that it's a position he would hold by Iron Man 3.
Badge, guys. I put a memo in the toilet. Come on.
When Christine Everhart questions how conveniently Killmonger saved the day, he flips the script by revealing that he was undercover with the Ten Rings and that Obadiah Stane planned Tony's assassination during the Jericho missile demonstration. Happy decks Stane with one punch, a reference to his past as a boxer in the comics, which we saw on display in Iron Man 2.
Rule number 1, never take your eye off your opponent.
Oh my God!
At the after party, Tony and Killmonger toast each other by saying,
They came for the king and they missed.
This is a reference to Omar Little from The Wire, played by the late, great Michael K. Williams. Before he joined the MCU, Michael B. Jordan's breakthrough role was playing Wallace on The Wire, so it's a bittersweet nod. In Tony's lab, we see prototype repulsor tech, which sadly will never get used for Iron Man's gauntlets, as well as Tony's fancy sports cars, including the hot rod from the first film that helped inspire the design of the Mark III armor. While Tony said it in the original Iron Man movie, this time Killmonger is the one who quotes Howard Stark.
Peace means having a bigger stick than the other guy.
We then get a brief glimpse of one of Tony's earliest inventions, Dumb E, the hydraulic arm which helped him during the Iron Man Mark II design process. We then learn all about Project Liberator. At first, it sounds like what's going to lead to Ultron in this What If universe, but it's actually a Gundam referencing combat drone that was Killmonger's doctoral thesis project at MIT. Killmonger explains that he really likes anime, which is a reference to Michael B. Jordan's unabashed passion for anime in real life, too. Case in point, he had strong opinions on Hajime no Ippo when we interviewed him for Creed 2. Tony is still basically a full-blown lush as he asks a Paul Bettany-voiced Jarvis for Bloody Marys to take the edge off his hangover. Looks like he hasn't found that demon in a bottle quite yet. And by that I mean the iconic 1979 Demon in a Bottle storyline where Tony Stark confronts his alcoholism, which was briefly addressed in Iron Man 2 and 3. What follows are some fun parallels to the original Iron Man movie, the test videos of the Mark II armor, and Tony getting the idea to miniaturize the arc reactor to power a man-sized mech suit, only to write it off as ridiculous.
Hey, if we could miniaturize an arc reactor, Oh, that's a dumb idea.
Conveniently, Killmonger has a solution, using vibranium to act as a self-sustaining power source for the drones. He reveals his father Njobu's vibranium ring, a symbol of his royal heritage, which Killmonger wore as a necklace in the movie Black Panther as well. Tony notes that his father used the last of the vibranium up during World War II, referencing the creation of Captain America's shield in The First Avenger. But Killmonger has another solution. The black market, baby! Stark decides to hit up everyone's favorite illegal arms dealer, Ulysses Klaue, voiced once again by the amazing Andy Serkis. They decide to send Rhodey to handle a deal with Killmonger at the same shadowy storage yard in Johannesburg that we saw in Avengers Age of Ultron, where Ultron bought some of that sweet, sweet branium. And just like that movie, once again, the deal goes south real quick. After showing off a Dora Milaje spear and a motherload of stolen vibranium, Klaue is beaten to a pulp by Black Panther, who tracked the arms dealer here. Rhodey fires at T'Challa, who reveals that their quarrel is not with him when things get real murdery. Killmonger arrives with a sonic taser from Stark Industries R&D, which echoes Klaue's sonic weaponry in the comics and the small version that Obadiah Stane used to immobilize Tony in Iron Man. Killmonger murders both T'Challa and Rhodey in cold blood and frames Rhodey for the attack, which sets off an international incident between Wakanda and the United States. Arrogant though he may be, Tony Stark is nobody's fool. Using 3D holographic tech like we saw in Iron Man 3, Jarvis recorded everything that Killmonger did, leading to a confrontation. After taking out the Liberator drone, Killmonger murders Tony Stark, who we see die for the third time in What If and the fourth time in the larger MCU, this time shish kebabbed on a Dora Milaje spear, which leads the US government to conclude it was a Wakandan hit job. Come on, US government, you dummies. We also get to see Killmonger's scars, which as we learned in Black Panther represent each of his kills. These are inspired by the real-life scarification rituals practiced by certain African tribes, as well as the crocodile scarification practiced by the Chambri tribe in Papua New Guinea. In the next scene, we see Killmonger expertly playing General Thunderbolt Ross and the U.S. military-industrial complex like a fiddle. He convinces the military to build a fleet of Liberator drones, and they, in turn, seize control of Stark Industries' assets. That's very bad. After that, Klaue drives Killmonger to the outer perimeter of Wakanda's shield wall, and once again, the latter betrays the former, killing him and bringing his body to Wakanda as proof of his loyalty to their kingdom. Like in the movie Black Panther, we see the secret lip tattoo signifying Killmonger's Wakandan heritage. We get a very similar family reunion scene with the same hey auntie energy as in Black Panther, as Killmonger attempts to con his way into the Wakandan royal family's good graces. What follows is an epic battle between the Wakandan forces led by Queen Ramonda and the Liberator drones. There are echoes of the Battle of Winterfell from Game of Thrones as well, as the darkness is slowly lit up. Although Killmonger is secretly controlling the drones and blaming Tony Stark for it, he emerges a hero, riding into battle on a war rhino like we saw during Black Panther's climactic battle. His prize? In a scene paralleling the tragic finale of Black Panther, we see a triumphant Killmonger accepting what he views as his birthright. King T'Chaka gives him the heart-shaped herb in order to imbue him with superhuman strength and the abilities he needs to become the next Black Panther of Wakanda. All in all, not bad for his first day there. Much like in the movie Black Panther, Killmonger is transported to the ancestral plane where a deceased Prince T'Challa asks him, "Was it worth it, my cousin?" They get into a philosophical debate over the use of force to break the yoke of imperialism versus fighting human suffering with more suffering. Back in the real world, we see Killmonger in his black and gold Black Panther suit, which has sometimes been called the Golden Jaguar suit. After that, we return to the Stark Industries offices where we see someone putting up a military propaganda poster reading, "Only you can avenge Tony Stark." Obviously, pun is very much intended, but it isn't teasing a super team. Rather, it is a prelude to Thunderbolt Ross's plans to bomb Wakanda into oblivion with the Jericho missiles. Thankfully, all hope isn't lost, and we will get some avenging. Waiting for Pepper Potts in her office is Shuri, a child genius that could give Tony Stark a run for his money. She has uncovered evidence of Killmonger's murders and his master plan and wants to team up with Pepper to right some wrongs. Although the episode ends here, the mid-season trailer that dropped on Tuesday teased shots of Pepper Potts fighting alongside the Dora Milaje, so something tells us that they're not quite done with this storyline yet. As for what the future holds for Killmonger, despite killing 3 Avengers, he is definitely being teased as part of the Guardians of the Multiverse or whatever Exiles-esque team the Watcher seems to be putting together over the course of this season. Then again, He is now canonically an anime fan, and what anime fan doesn't love a good villainous redemption arc?
Worst case scenario, we'll end up with the world's most expensive Gundam model.
We'll just have to wait and see what the future holds, though, in the final episodes of What If. In the meantime, though, tell us, what did you think of What If Episode 6? Did you spot anything that we missed?
They came for the king, and they missed.
Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, stay tuned to Nerdist.com.